Hey everybody, Tim Gilbert here, VEVE user ID /. I like to look at other markets and see what's going on, and one of the biggest of the physical collectors of comics, the biggest channels on YouTube is Swaggle House Comics. Great guy. He reminds me of the Mike Collectibles guy, really almost always upbeat, which is fantastic, when times are turbulent as they are. But he had some really interesting, I'll put a link for his video. But, it's really interesting that how he details a lot. Once there was this big surge in the last year and a half or so that there was a lot of flippers. You buy something and you'd make 3x in a short period of time and that's over, just like we saw it in VEVE.
We got to talk about how nobody is happy, okay? Nobody is happy. Everyone is negative. We all know that in 2021 was a boom year for comic books. It was a boom year for many collectibles in all kind of genres. And we had a infusion of people, new collectors coming into the hobby. And it was a great thing overall. I mean, it created a lot of rise of prices and a lot of competition out there. But generally speaking, it's better to have more people in the hobby than not. Well, kind of now where we are, I mean, the easy money has been made. Gone are the days of being able to get a book and do a quick flip and be able to, 3x on your comic book overnight. I mean, people I think are still trying to do that.
VEVE was able to take advantage of the NFT and the bull run and the COVID lockdown and in the circumstances involving that. So we are, I feel, pre-user influx. And I've mentioned this in other videos that this huge surge, which VEVE was able to get on board with the NFT craze, a lot of that came over to us. And there's a lot of flippers and that increases prices. Like you said here, we had tons of people coming in because everybody's hyping it and you're seeing triple your money. So everybody herds in like lemmings. And, that crowd's going away. We haven't even hit the wave of the marketing wave, and we can see things potentially with Target and even the partnerships already with the movie theaters. We haven't hit any of that wave yet. Okay, I'm not a moon boy, and I'm bummed with a bunch of the delays and this and that, but I feel, this next wave or bump won't be from an NFT or crypto base. We may get some upswing when crypto to, payments are accepted. I don't think that's going to be a big, huge catalyst because a lot of those guys who have the crypto money are down 80% too. So that's just my 2 cents. My point on this is I'm kind of changing my strategy due to the delay in the Master Collector program. I have like 130 sets. Those are solid. I'm not selling anything. I pretty much have only sold a few things since I've started. But I'm really switching the gear, especially with my strategy in terms of the economy, everything is kind of screwed up right now. Not VEVE, the world economy, wars, the whole thing, gas. So I'm not going to be going after any more sets. I am going to selectively go after the grails. And Miles Morales is coming out and it's fantastic. It's great. And it's getting a lot of hype again, but it's going to be like cotton candy. It's going to wear off in a week. Okay. And really, if I'm thinking about where to put my money, I was getting all these sets at a ridiculous price because everything was so low, and that's great. So that's my stability. So when MCP comes out, I'm going to be rewarded. So we're kind of putting money in the bank for that. And I put a lot of money into getting all these sets. So even though the market's down or even staying where it's at, I am collecting value by holding it. And I'm confident I will be rewarded. It's taking longer than I thought. But then if you think you have X amount of dollars, what's the best amount? Where should I put that? And, if you look at one of the biggest comics, that was MC1, that was last August. The top 5 grails or, whatever are going to be the ones that were released, I think, a year ago. This is just my opinion. But I want to be selectively, like David used strategy, which was great, which I was able to take advantage of a little bit in the January bull run when I was a few times I sold things because I had multiple Todds. I had, not like a Silicon Secure where I had 10 or 20, but I had at least 3 of each. And that's what David recommended as a collector. And I took that advice to heart. You have 1 to sell, 1 to trade, and 1 to keep. I wanted to, have the full Batman set and all these first edition sets. But by getting a few extra, I didn't ever cash out. I just bought other stuff, and I bought other stuff at a premium price. So it didn't really hurt me because I bought stuff way high in January, February, but it was with money that I got from selling my duplicates or triplicates. I had the most 3 of these grails. So what my strategy is now, because the market's still way down, and to get the first Todd or the first Superman, the first Spider-Man, Spider-Man is the grail, I feel, and this isn't anything new to anybody. The first on Marvel, first on the blockchain, the most popular character. Something I put on Twitter also was that, Miles Morales, I think it's amazing, great, show, but it's geared towards the newer market, and that's not where the money is. My big niche is guitar lesson, and I've done it on YouTube since 2006. So I'm a veteran YouTube and marketing and products. But my demographic of the buyers is 40 to 60-year-old males, okay? And I think that's the people, this is my gut feeling, even though that's across the spectrum on VEVE, that's the people who are buying. You're not going to see a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old, unless they got a trust fund, buying a $10,000 Spider-Man or an $8,000 Walt. This is the 35 to 60-year-old males predominantly, if you look at the demographics. So in the superheroes that are going to come to mind on that are not Miles Morales. And I'm not fighting Miles Morales. I think it's a great, any of these things in the first 2 years of VEVE are great to hold if you can hang on, but it starts adding up with money. There's only unlimited money you can put in this when you're not taking anything out. So now I've got to be more strategic. And my plan is to just slowly in the next couple months build up where I get back to 3 of, if I can, it's, of the grail type items. So that's just my update. I was a little bummed on the MCP being delayed, but these guys are still charging ahead, full 100% behind them, and it could be a year or 2, but that's just my take on that. And I'm going to put a link for this Swaggle House comic so it doesn't show we're alone. Well, last note on that is I would be nervous if I was a physical collector if I didn't have the super ones that everyone wants, like Action Comics or MC1 or Final Fantasy, Amazing Fantasy, Spider-Man, because those top 3 will always be in demand. The price, but you'll be able to probably move them even if you drop price a little bit. It's just kind of like on the NBA Top Shot, the LeBron James, the Steph Curry, those limited edition items are always going to garner the money. And if you drop money, there's someone waiting to snap it up. Well, if you have a mid tier or just below that tier, you're not going to be able to get liquid as quickly. So hopefully you got something out of that, but that's just where I'm headed. So rock on, Tim Gilbert.